Hey everybody, Brian Good here with you guys. Alright, vacation's over. Now it's time to focus on the earliest alert, which is going to cover all the way through Derby Day, of course. And that's going to be the main focus I'll have on these blogs until we get closer to Derby, and then I'll try to branch out more into the summertime stuff, but I know this is a big one. Alright, a couple of things about today. One, this area of low pressure that's spinning nearby, the spiral bands, I've been relating it to like a tropical look to the satellite. It's not a tropical system, but I think sometimes it's easier to understand how that works when you see the spiral bands around the center of the low like that, because you do have some dry punches that can be mixed in with that, and that is where you get your dry periods, and you get some hints of sunshine that can happen briefly. It's spinning around so much, so any clearing you get will fill back in with clouds not too much longer after that. First rain band came through the morning rush, led to so many problems we had on traffic. It's now lifting north and east. This next one here, because the low is a slow mover, may actually build a little more into Louisville. We'll see how that plays out as everything's kind of moving somewhat backwards, kind of southeast to northwest. Notice the sun trying to come out when that dry punch. And that's the thing, where that dry punch is, we'll have to watch and see if any thunderstorms can develop. There looks to be, in the latest analysis coming in, just a small amount of cape developing on I-65, enough for some thunder. I wouldn't rock Peace Highest tail, but freezing levels aren't terrible, so it's not a huge concern. But having said that, some lightning and thunder possible. Now, initially, these thunderstorms that do develop and downpours are going to hug close to the center, which you can see where the center is. Looks like right over northwest of Jackson, Tennessee, and near Paducah. That's where the center is. For the initial rounds of downpours and thunder, they're going to hug close to that circulation and wrap around. But as the low itself moves more to the east, then those bands have a chance to work more into central Kentucky and Indiana, and that may take until later tonight. It'd be a somewhat slow process, but we'll be watching them. All right, so that's how the rain trends will be today. We'll try to keep you updated on the weather app, adjusting the hourly as we get a better handle on each one of these bands coming through. All right, here's the bigger scope, and you can see it's the only game in town that is happening, and it doesn't have much to push it along. The wind speeds aloft are not very strong. That's why we're not talking about crazy severe weather. There's just not a lot of wind shear with this taking place. So this is going to work its way to the east. It'll take it to about Wednesday, it looks like. Let me show you one of the high-res models, and you can see the first round that's moving through now. Here's those thunderstorms that kind of develop real close to the center of the low this time, near Lake Cumberland, Paducah, Bowling Green area. Then they try to lift into north, but you notice they really kind of fade out even when they move north. So it's not a guarantee, but certainly possible. Some lightning and thunder tonight. And then tomorrow the low is more closer to I-75 at this point. So now we're in the northern northwest quadrant, which is not as warm of a quadrant than today will be. If we were to get any sun breaks today, we could easily get into the upper 60s, but it will just depend on that. Then as the low works its way to the east, even more so for Wednesday and Thursday, we'll be on the western side of it, the even cooler side really, and we could get some leftover showers, but coverage doesn't look overly widespread. And you can kind of see the trends of any thunderstorms that wrap around the low, and also how the low is moving east. That's where your highest rain totals will be. We've already had about quarter to half inch of rain already in Jefferson County from the morning activity, so it doesn't take much. All right, so let me show you the broader perspective. And what you're looking at is the precipitation, and then you got the temperature layout, the colors underneath that. Once that wraps up and moves out of here by Thursday, another front moves in Friday. Now, the timing on this is varying anywhere from like 8 or 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. With a band of rain. Now, there's not going to be a lot of moisture with this one. It doesn't have enough time to gather and scoop up anything from the Gulf, so it's got its limits. But that window is pretty wide right now on the rain timing, and that's important because of the glimmer and the rush hour stuff for the balloons. We need to watch that, so we'll keep you updated and let you know how that trends. But there will be some showers at least at some point on Friday, it looks like. It will be cool Friday night and early Saturday, but then we get into this high, and this high is going to be key on how the setup goes for this weekend into Derby week and Derby itself, because we're trying to see a blocking pattern that wants to get established with this high. If that can happen, then we may be in for some nice weather. I mean, some of our nicest weather we've had for a Derby week that I can recall. Probably since, well, even 2015 wasn't bad. We had many events that made it through without any major rainfall. Only one, I think, got nasty weather, and it was either the parade or thunder. That was it. Otherwise, if this high can hold on as our protector all the way through Derby Day, and hold off this front and system to our west, we have the potential to not only be dry, but have highs in the 80s on a daily basis. That would be impressive. Now, if the high ends up weaker, and therefore the flow is a little more progressive, then this front will have a little more push to it and get right into our area. Near Parade Day, maybe even Oaks. And that would lead to some questions for Derby. So there's still a lot of setup here on how this will play out, but at least we're getting enough data to say that potential is there for a bubble of dry and really warm air. Let's hope it holds. That would be a nice little treat, right? So here's how I'm going to trend it for now. I'm going to keep the rain chance in, of course. But I'll go on the cooler side. I think it'll be in the 80s at some point during Derby week. Now I think we will drop slightly on Oaks, because at some point the ridge, the high itself, is going to begin to break down. So the later we go into time, the more likely that is to happen. So the more I go out into time, the lower I'm going to have to make the high temperature, lower it down, and keep in mind on the rain chance. And for Derby Day, same thing. I'm going to just keep it just a hair cooler at 77. But you got to understand, potential is certainly there. If the high is stronger, these numbers will be higher and drier. And if the high is weaker, these numbers will be dramatically lower, as in barely 60, and with rain. So there's some huge differences still that could happen, but right now we're going through the most likely scenario, and we'll just take it one day at a time, because that's what we do here, right? I'll see you guys tomorrow, and we'll see how it looks then. Hopefully the same.